Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm starting here on Sunday, last Sunday. This was post-hike, so my fiance and a friend of ours and I went on a hike. It wasn't really much of a hike. We kind of walked near a waterfall and just enjoyed the water and nature, and it was really nice and relaxing. It got me a little bit back into my groove. There was still a bit of a lull, but luckily there were still a couple days left of Bybon's April Art Challenge, and so here I am working on one of my 300 prompts from the prompt book that I got from Target. The prompt was hummingbird, and I've drawn a lot of hummingbirds because that's my nickname for my fiance, but in Spanish, chupaflor. So in one of my sketchbooks that you can see in my first video, which I'll put here, is a lot of drawings of hummingbirds and sunflowers, because their nickname for me is Sunflower. So I was thinking of doing, it's not exactly like a hummingbird, of course. It's much more stylized, and I just wanted to have fun with it and make something pretty. I was using a variety of markers. I have Spectra AD Spectrum markers and Prismacolor markers. There might be one or two other brands. I don't know what that sound is. I also included some gold leaf in this painting. We got liquid gold leaf because we couldn't find the adhesive for the sheets of gold leaf, and we saw the liquid and we figured that would just be easier for our first try with this stuff. I also use Micron pens. And a jelly roll pen for some white lines. I'm trying to experiment with using different colored outlines. So here you see me, I'm experimenting with white. So now it's Monday, April 29th, and I was working on Buy Buns Challenge for that day, which was carved. I am not a fan of history. I've always struggled in history classes. And I took Roman sculpture. Like, it was a history class about Roman sculpture. I don't remember the title of it. It was a requirement. It was a requirement for my degree. I really wasn't looking forward to taking it. But I actually fell in love with a lot of the sculptures that they made and the ideas behind them. Like their funerary stones. I think they're called steels or something like that, but they were basically like window style with a portrait. I really like the ones that are portraits of like women, with the robe and everything, and it's like a bust shot. Those are really nice. I used royal graphite pencils and I think just a blending stump that I got from Hobby Lobby. I think it was like store brand, nothing special. Are there any special blending stumps? All the birds are awake. It's 8:37 p.m. and all the birds are just talking. Look at all my indecision on where to write the date and the prompt. There it goes. So this is now Friday. I guess I was a little bit worn out after the April art challenge. It was a lot of fun, and I think I didn't realize how much work it was. So I didn't really do anything on Wednesday or Thursday. I did a small drawing on Tuesday for the last April art challenge. And I've been thinking a lot about Mermaid, which I'm doing, but I'm doing Nadia Rousa's Mermaid, which has weekly prompts, which I feel like I can handle, especially because I don't do mermaids. I'm practicing anatomy, and I've got faces down for the most part, but I'm working on bodies, and I think working on Mermaid will help a lot, but I felt like I couldn't handle Tom Bancroft's Mermaid every single day. Even if I skip some, it felt better to do a weekly one. So back to today. Well, back to Friday. I got called into work late, and we were having a baby shower for one of my coworkers, and so I decided I was going to do this for her before. I didn't have the will to do it earlier. Luckily I got called into work late, so I was able to work on it in the morning so I could give it to her that day. So I saw this portrait of her from her family baby shower last weekend. I just thought it was so beautiful. I made her head a little bit too big, but overall I feel like it catches her personality and her pregnancy, which is really nice to see. She's a wonderful person. She has such a positive spirit, even though I'm sure she's exhausted. She's still working. She's doing a month. She's someone I look up to as far as positivity. So I'm using, I think, a mix of watercolors and gouache. I decided to just use whatever I had in the palette, and I don't really clean my palette very often, and it's got a mix of watercolor, gouache, who knows what else I have in my repertoire. Also, towards the end, I use some watercolor pencils and microns again to kind of, finesse it, make it a little bit more detailed and in depth. This past week, I've felt so impatient with making things. I feel like it's not happening fast enough, or I lose interest quickly. I was pretty proud of this one. then the whole weekend we babysat our nieces, and she's been asking me for probably 2 weeks to draw all of the Steven Universe fusions for her.
Wait, who was the biggest gem?
The biggest one? The diamonds. The diamonds are the biggest. White diamond is the very biggest.
Who's the smallest?
Probably rubies. Rubies are really small.
Ruby?
And like I draw for the kids at work, and I'll draw like Pokemon or different characters, and she wanted all of the fusions, and I think Jazz counted and there's like 16 of them. And I had to keep saying no because I couldn't do that all at work. So I finally did it while I was at their house, and she's just so happy with it. I'm really happy with it too. I think I'm going to color it digitally and maybe have a print available. I think that would be great. I love Steven Universe, all the body positivity, and it's just such a wholesome show. And props to Rebecca Sugar for creating it and making it live, and congrats for Peabody. That's just incredible to me. Thank you all for tuning in again. I hope you enjoy this vlog. There wasn't a lot of art making, but it was a nice week overall, and I feel like what I made was a good amount.